Welcome everybody, it's Mayor Joe at the 12 o'clock show. You know it's Wednesday when you hear the theme music coming on. Today we have a very special guest from Eastland Fairfield Career Center, Superintendent and CEO Kim Miller. Nice of you to be here today.
Thank you for having me.
Really looking forward to talking about it. It's been a while since we've had somebody from the education world talk in, specifically something that's a little bit unique to education. But first off, let's just talk. How happy are you to be that everybody's in school and going through like as normal a year as possible, given every weird thing that's going on?
I think like all educators, we're really excited to have all of the students back in school every day. Learning is a social aspect. We learn through social situations, and so to have all of the students in school interacting with one another, interacting with their instructors and the administrators and all of the folks that work in our buildings is just really important. So very happy to have all of our students back.
Well, so tell us a little bit about Eastland and Fairfield Career Center. Just kind of tell us a little bit about what that actually means for everybody who might not be as familiar with it, and then talk about some of the big misconceptions about what you do.
Sure. So in the state of Ohio, we have 49 career technical centers, and we serve the school districts in the state. And so at Eastland Fairfield, we are the 7th largest career technical center in the state of Ohio. We serve 16 school districts, 17 high schools, and we serve also any adult who can get to us. There's not a limit on the area that adults can attend our adult programming. We have programming for juniors and seniors in high school, as well as adults, as I mentioned. We run our programs in 2 career centers. We have the Eastland Career Center that's in Groveport, Ohio, and we have the Fairfield Career Center that is in Carroll, Ohio. Students from any of the 16 districts can attend programs at either campus. The campuses don't serve a geographic area, it's just where we house the different programs. And we also offer satellite programs. So those are programs that Eastland Fairfield runs, career tech programs, and we house those in some of our high schools. And we actually house a couple of programs in the Reynoldsburg schools. We have a Performing Arts Academy at the high school, and we also have 2 Career Connections classes at the middle school.
Well, it's a good thing because you mentioned just about the ideas. So when I was on the Board of Education, I had an opportunity, and I don't know if you guys have started doing this back up since COVID has come on. But I was invited to come down to Fairfield, and we ended up having lunch there. And the students, prepared the meal, and it was just a unique experience to go out and do something like that, because it allowed board members to have a little bit more of an understanding, especially from a district like Reynoldsburg, to go into a career center and get a better idea firsthand of what that connection would be like.
Absolutely. Most people who visit one of our career centers for the first time will say, I had no idea this is here. So you mentioned the culinary program, which is housed at Eastland Career Center, and they do run a restaurant called the Heritage Room. They're typically open on Thursdays and Fridays, and public members can come and participate as well. It's very reasonably priced because it's at the school, but quite good food, and the students are enjoying serving it and also learning all the different aspects of hospitality, not just preparing the food.
The fun part.
The fun part, exactly.
Now, what are some of the biggest misconceptions of a career center
that
you've heard, that you're being told?
So my background, most of my career, I've been in K-12 schools. So I was previously the superintendent in Bexley. I've worked in Dublin City Schools and in Cincinnati. And so I've worked with career centers, and so this move to career centers is not new for me. But one of the things that I knew from my time in K-12 and definitely hearing now is the misconception is that career centers are for students who are not going to college. And that could not be farther from the truth. In fact, a large number of our students do go on to 2- and 4-year colleges or on to higher ed with us in one of our adult programs. We actually this year, along with a lot of other schools, are really talking to our students about what is their next E. And we talk about 4 E's. Is your next step after graduation employment? Is it entrepreneurship? Is it enlistment in one of the branches of the military? Or is it additional education? And so we are helping our students to make decisions that get them to what their next E will be. And education at again 2- or 4-year universities is very much a part of what our students do. In fact, many of our students are better prepared for college. So we offer a number of engineering type programs. So a student who goes to major in engineering has an understanding of the application of engineering principles. A student who is in our pre-nursing program who goes on to a nursing program understands more about the nursing field because they've been in a clinical environment while in high school. And so career centers are for students who want to focus a little more on a career development, or career exploration at a deeper level than maybe what they could do at their traditional high school. It's definitely not for everyone, but for students who like to learn in a very hands-on, practical way, it is a great way for them to learn.
Well, I know when I was a teacher, one of the things that I was always talk to students about is if your traditional learning environment, your typical classroom setting, if that's not something you're interested in and you're not looking to go, again, to further education at the college level initially, then the Career Center is an amazing opportunity because you can go out and do some of those things, those hands-on experiences. So I'm glad that it's there. I know plenty of people have taken advantage of it, mostly because of the programs that you offer. So what are some of your more popular programs that you offer?
So based on, at the high school level, based on the number of applicants we have, our most popular programs are pre-nursing. We actually have 5 pre-nursing labs. We added a 5th this year because we had so many applicants for that program. Criminal justice, we have 2 labs, 1 at Eastland, 1 at Fairfield. Cosmetology, we have 3 labs, 2 at Fairfield and 1 at Eastland. We have an automotive lab at each of our campuses. And also, these are programs that we don't have multiple labs, but fill every year, are welding, animal management, and electrical. So very popular programs.
And I can imagine, especially, one of the big needs right now for most jobs, trade-based jobs, something where you can get into construction like we had talked about earlier. So I know those were always there. So now the 2 main campuses you have, you said one in Groveport, one in Carroll, and you talked about the satellite program. So tell us, I know the one that's out there because Debbie Dunlap's a good friend of mine, and she's very, very much a proponent of the performing arts. So can you tell us a little bit about how that partnership with Reynoldsburg and the performing arts?
Sure. So with any satellite, we're looking for what are the interests of the students in that school, what are the workforce demands in that region, and what is the interest of the school district in having a partnership with us. And so the Performing Arts Academy has been in Reynoldsburg schools going back to the mid-90s. So it's been around for a long time. This year, we worked with the district and we moved it from the Livingston campus to the Summit campus so that it's housed with the Encore Academy, which is the Performing Arts, or the Arts Academy. And it's open to also the students in the other districts. So a satellite program is not just open to the students in the district, but to all of the districts. However, the expectation is the home district is going to fill most of the seats. About 75% of the seats should be filled in the home district. That's why we house it there. So we've had that program for a while. We would like to see enrollment increase in that. We think it's a great opportunity for students. We have an outstanding instructor in that program who has Broadway experience. And so it's a wonderful opportunity for students who are interested in pursuing performing arts, either professionally or if it's just something they want to be a part of in community theater and want to learn more about it. It's a great opportunity.
Well, you mentioned community theater, and one of the things that we have here in Reynoldsburg are what we call community commissions, and one of them is an arts component. And one of the things our arts community is looking at is potentially expanding opportunities for performing arts, not necessarily just for school age kids, but also even adults and things like that. So I know I've been talking to a few people over at Eastland just to find a way to see if we can partner up even for some adult performances and things. Now, how can Reynoldsburg residents get more information for their kids or for themselves? Because I know we're going to talk a little bit about some adult programming and things like that. What's the best way to figure out where to go to?
So there are a couple of ways to get information. First, you could go to our website. It's eastland-fairfield.com, and there is a plethora of information about both adult and high school programs on our website. Also, if you're interested in seeing our campuses, we welcome visitors to our campuses, but on December 2nd, Thursday, December 2nd, each of our campuses will be open from 6 to 8 p.m. for open house, and we have specifically invited 6th through 11th grade students to attend that. That information has gone out to our students, but also we send it out to our school district so they can also push that out. If you have a 5th grader and want to come, you're certainly welcome, but we targeted our 6th through 11th graders because we have junior senior programs, but we also have a few programs that are available just to seniors who maybe didn't decide to come for 11th grade but now realize I'd like to come out to the Career Center. And then finally we have a career services team, and so you can contact them. Our number is 614-836-4530. And if you contact us and just ask for one of our career services counselors, we'll do personal tours of our buildings, allow you to meet with an instructor and just get additional information. So if you want information, we want to provide it to you, so just reach out to us and we'll make sure that we get you to the person that you need.
And we'll make sure to put some links up too
Great.
On our Facebook page just to kind of connect. Now, we did get a couple of questions from an audience member, and the few questions start off: is financial aid available for the adult workforce program, and when should the students apply for aid?
So we absolutely have adults. So we are, on our adult side, we are also part of the Ohio Department of Higher Education. So we are governed by OHE, just like Ohio State University or other universities. And so financial aid is definitely available. We have programs that are eligible for Pell Grants. We accept the GI Bill, and we do both subsidized and unsubsidized loans for students. And also, if you're working for an employer who will pay for you to come to school, we will accept those third-party tuition payments, or if you have a scholarship, that you can also apply that to us. And when a person applies to be part of one of our adult programs, they can apply for financial aid at the same time. And we have a staff of people on the adult side that will help with that process.
Yeah, we'll definitely get that information out as well. Now, students typically apply for this. What year in high school are they in? Because I know you said 11th and 12th, so sometime 10th grade primarily?
The majority of our students would come for 2 years, for 11th and 12th grade. And so open house, again, is December 2nd. The application will open on December 3rd, so students can begin applying. We're changing our application process a bit this year to be more inclusive and more equitable for students. And also, we're going to move away from round 1, round 2, round 3. We're just going to keep the application open until, I believe it's March 4th, and then we'll look at all of the applications at that point. The most important thing for students is that they need to be on track to graduate to earn all of their required credits. Half of the day when they're at Eastland Fairfield is spent in that lab environment. So they only have 4 periods a day to take academic classes. So it's important that they're on track. We will work with students and homeschools to put plans in place if we need to do that. But for students or parents who are thinking that their children might come, it's really important to keep those grades up and earn those credits so that you can come out to Eastland Fairfield. And then for seniors, it's the same application. So we have a few programs that are senior only, and it's that same application timeline.
Now, I know we talked in the school district a lot of times, some of the obstacles of getting kids to participate in the Career Center program. Some of it was, sometimes counselors, sometimes teachers, sometimes parents have different ideas of what the Career Center is all about. So one of the things that we talked about doing is always opening the doors earlier to the Career Center. So instead of your 10th grade field trip, which is what most everybody goes and they take their trip, opening it up into 9th grade, 8th grade, 7th grade, and with your open house that you were talking about is 6th grade. I think that's important because I think that not only do the kids need to be told exactly what those kind of options are, but I think parents need to know just as much as anyone else that this is not always what they think it is, and this is an opportunity for their kids to find something that they love and they can be passionate about and actually enjoy doing, as opposed to maybe sometimes the more traditional route of education.
Absolutely. I mentioned that we have Career Connections teachers in 2 of our the Reynoldsburg middle schools, and you have your own Career Connections teacher in one of the middle schools, so they work really well together. That's an opportunity. Those students are able to come out. In fact, we have some tours coming up for all of the schools that participate in Career Connections to come out and see our schools for the middle schoolers. We will be back to summer camps this year, so we will have middle school summer camps, which we're excited about. Those will be the first week of June. I believe it's June 1st, 2nd, 3rd. More information will be going out, and again, we'll be asking our community partners to share that with the community so that students have a chance to come out to our centers, work with some of our instructors, and experience different career exploration again. So we're not trying to recruit students to come to us. We're just trying to help students know what their options are. And I think it's the same for parents. It's less about we want you to come to the Career Center and more about we want to help students know all of the different options that are available to them so they can select the one that is best for them. And we also are working on beginning to expand into elementary schools. Again, not as a recruitment, but as a career exploration. That's something we want all students to think about, the value of work and how you contribute to your community through work. And so we want to expand our programming into elementary schools as well.
Awesome. Now, what is the typical time frame from start to finish for a program such as welding? It was a very specific question, so I think somebody might be trying to persuade someone at home to be a welder.
So on the high school side, that is a 2-year program. Okay. On the adult side, almost all of our adult programs are 900 hours or a little less. And so they take about 9 to 10 months to complete. Interestingly, I was visiting in our adult welding program last evening. We have about 20 students in that program, 2 women in that program that we had a chance to talk to. So great new instructor in our adult welding program, outstanding instructor in all of our programs, but welding, I said, is one of our more popular programs as well. So definitely a great opportunity and great employment and income potential in that field.
Well, I'll tell you a funny story. I was talking with somebody through the Builders and Trades, and he was talking about welding, and he was actually advocating that more women needed to get involved in welding because, and these are his words, not mine, but they were just very meticulous and very detail-oriented and to do some of the more technical aspects of the welding. And so he was all about trying to recruit as many women into that field as possible. So I just thought that's kind of something that stuck with me. Now, does the Career Center offer any job application assistance to its adult workforce? So you go through the 9 to 10 month program. Do they offer any kind of assistance with that?
Absolutely. We work with our students. We have a counselor that works with our students on the resume and that sort of thing. And in fact, most of our adult students are employed prior to graduation. And so we have a really great rate. We have great business partners that we work with. And again, most of our adults are employed before they graduate.
And that's the goal overall.
Absolutely.
Well, those are all the preset questions. Do we have any? All right. So we got a couple of questions from the online viewers.
Yeah, we had 2 come in. The first one is if students choose the Career Center, will they take any classes at their home school?
So they have options. Most of the students who come to one of the 2 Career Centers spend their entire day with us, and so they take their academic classes. Remember, they're in high school. They have to have 4 credits of math, 4 credits of English, 3 credits of social studies, and 3 credits of science, as well as some electives. And so most of the students spend the day with us because the transportation to the Career Center is the responsibility of the home district. The Career Centers don't transport, and that's the way it's set up for the state of Ohio. However, we do have students who drive, and we do have some students who come for just a half a day. So they come just for the lab portion, and that's okay. We can certainly accommodate that. And so if they prefer to take their academic courses back in their home school, they can do that if they have their own transportation.
Okay. Next question is, are you having any issues with violence and drugs at the Career Center?
So in talking with some of my colleagues, the coming back to school normal, while we're all glad to be back, it is a transition back to full-time school. It is a transition for students back to having full classes, full buildings, full cafeterias, and that takes time. We've reminded our staff at times that for our juniors, the last full year of typical school they had was in the 8th grade. And so we're going through a transition across all of our schools, and so that transition takes time. Fortunately, we are not seeing any sort of atypical behaviors. We love our students. They're wonderful. They're high schoolers. And so sometimes when we were all in high school, we sometimes make mistakes. And so, but we use that as a learning opportunity, and our students are doing very well. I said I just met with 2 of my 2 student advisory groups, just outstanding students, very mature, very respectful, really wanted to share their thoughts about how we're doing things. We also started the year very intentionally. We brought in just our juniors one day, then just our seniors, and really worked with our students, our staff worked with our students on returning to school. And also we have the added benefit of serving 16 school districts that are very diverse. So we serve rural, suburban, and urban school districts, and we think that's wonderful. But you have to help students come, just like in a society, we have to help our students to learn how to come and be with people that are different from them and to see the value of that. And we really made that a priority this year, and so I think it has paid off for our students. So I will not tell you we never have problems or hiccups because we do. It's school and their kids and they're learning, but overall we're having a very, very good year.
One of the things that a lot of my former students that went to the Career Center when I was with Columbus would always talk about, one of the biggest differences outside of the academic stuff is the amount of drama that occasionally occurs at high school was significantly reduced at the Career Center because people that were at the Career Center were there because they had a specific purpose. They were there for nursing. They were there for cosmetology. They were there for something like that. And so some of the more unique circumstances that happen in a traditional high school, that drama kind of stayed there and didn't follow them, and they kind of appreciated that. So
that's all we have right now.
All right. Okay. Well, you are more than welcome to stay and listen about awesome, crazy things going on in Reynoldsburg. So we've got a lot of fun things. As we mentioned last week, the President Biden's infrastructure bill has passed, and we're getting little tiny bits of information more about it. So I'll kind of go run through some of the information for those of you that turn the TV off when the news comes on, and sometimes I don't blame you. Ohio is geared to have $9.2 billion for Ohio's roads and highways, $500 million to assist with bridge repairs, $12.5 billion available in competitive grants, at least $100 million to expand broadband to unreached areas of the state, $1.4 billion for water infrastructure, $1.2 billion for public transportation, $253 million for airport improvements, $140 million for the construction of electric vehicle charging networks throughout the state, and $1 billion for Great Lakes restoration initiatives. Now, for Reynoldsburg, it's primarily going to be water and road infrastructure. Those are going to be the things that anything that we can try and apply for, that'll be there. What we're hearing is we're going to have some money that's going to come specifically to the state of Ohio and to the municipalities, and others might be grant-oriented where we would be able to apply for them. And I'm sure that some of that will also, again, trickle down into the career centers as well. Speaking of money, in our marathon session of council last week, we presented our budget for 2022. So we'll just kind of go through a couple of quick highlights. But before we do that, it was a really cool thing that happened this week. Most people, you get your payday, right? And you look at your paycheck and you're like, yeah, okay, and then move on with it. Well, the city's no different. We get paid from our income. We get paid on the 1st of the month, and we get paid on the 15th of the month. And so every 1st and 15th of the month, I'm staring at my computer waiting to see the city's proverbial paycheck. And this week, we actually got some really good news. Reynoldsburg has just broken, as of this week, the highest amount of revenue generated in the history of the city of Reynoldsburg. So this is 1 year after COVID, and we still have a month to go. Most of the city's finances are appeared by income tax, and so why that's a big deal is, while school districts typically are the property taxes, cities are income tax based, and since January of 2020, we've actually opened over 55 new businesses, and we have more on the way, and so those have kind of contributed to the increasing revenue over the last few years. So, congratulations to all involved for getting Reynoldsburg to that point of doing that. And what that means for everybody watching is that money means that we have more flexibility when it comes to services offered. We can improve our parks and recreation, like we've talked with Civic Park. We can work on road improvements, infrastructure improvements with water and things of that, with some of the flooding concerns that are out there. So anytime that we get that paycheck, that money is already being earmarked to find ways to benefit the community of Reynoldsburg. So it was really cool to see that. And so again, we're going to set the record, a little bit further above and beyond from where we are, and then we're going to take it to the next level for next year. So a couple highlights from there. We are going to continue on with our replacement schedule for our police squad cars, but they're all hybrid, so therefore, we're going to be doing our part to help with the environment. And then we have a lot of aging equipment. Lawnmowers that were built in the 1980s, those apparently don't always work so well in 2021, so we're going to go ahead and replace a few of those, along with some other kind of things that just need to be kind of updated all the way across. For staffing issues, I didn't know if you were aware, we actually have a great social working program that is based in our police department. We're the first in Central Ohio and possibly the state to actually have a dedicated social worker working with our police department. And we knew we were going to expand it, and so this is what we're going to do next year, is we're going to expand that. And so instead of having one, we're actually going to maybe go to 2 next year, and then maybe one more after the year after that. To help deal with things internally in RPD, but also help the community residents, to connect them with the resources that they need to make sure that their life is living the best that they can. We also have for the chicken debate out there, Reynoldsburg's had a chicken debate on social media in the last couple of days. Too chicken or not too chicken is the question. So do we want to allow chickens as animals in Reynoldsburg? I know Bexley allowed them, and so there are things like that. So there are a lot of concerns. Right now it's not legal to do so. And one of the biggest reasons is that the city had no way to, we didn't have an animal control officer. So we're working with our parks department to actually have a hybrid position of a park ranger and animal control. So if council prefers to go ahead and allow chickens to come, they would be able to do so, because now we'll be in the position to go ahead and hire people to maintain, because obviously, chicken coops are things that need to be cleaned on a regular basis, especially during those summer months. So council, it's on you. So we've got that going on. Any questions coming on?
Nope.
All right. We do have a couple of last reminders about our Charter Review Commission, Ward Boundary Realignment, and as well as our Board of Zoning and Building Appeals. All of those are options that community members can participate in. Hopefully you can send your applications in. For Charter Review, this is all the laws that the city has to follow based on a charter system. If you're interested in being part of that review process, please make sure you submit your application and a resume and a cover letter to Molly Prasher, our Clerk of Council. Our ward boundary realignment, unlike the state of Ohio that believes in gerrymandering being a good thing, we don't, and so we're actually going to do it the right way, and so we want residents to kind of participate in that. Yeah, I went there. I did, and I don't care. So don't pay attention. She has nothing to do with what I just said. But then we also have our Board of Zoning and Building Appeals. So if you want to put, if there's a variance, if you want to put a bigger sign and you're a business, then that would be up to this committee to actually decide whether or not that sign would be an appropriate thing given the area. So that's the only one that comes to me, the Board of Zoning and Building Appeals. So send those resumes and cover letters to me. The other two can go to Molly Prasher, our Clerk of Council. We did, again, always talking about road work improvements. So 70 road work, 70 and 256 is on tap for major reconstruction, possibly as early as 2025. So there'll be a lot of work done in there. And then potentially not long after that, 70 and Taylor Road, getting that connection from Taylor Road to get over to Pickerington and onto 70 as well. And as you all will start seeing with our Reynoldsburg Connects news blast earlier this week, as well as things that you'll see in the mail, local waste will begin our trash service starting in January. Schedule is really simple, starting probably not next week, but the week after. You're going to start seeing the garbage cans delivered to all the residents of Reynoldsburg. You'll have I think they're gray for this, and then you'll have your blue ones that we have. So we have the blue and the gray, and the old history teacher in me, it's Civil War stuff. But you got recycling and you've got your trash, so they'll be there. If you are renting a garbage can from Rumpke, they'll make arrangements with you to pick that up before the end of the year. And the Wednesday and Thursday map was released on the Reynoldsburg Connects, and so we'll have that out there. So some of the city is going to maintain the same day of Thursday, some of the city will be on Wednesday, and you'll get notified specifically by local waste if your area is there. You can also look on the map out there. So if you have questions that you live on Lancaster or you live on Sabre or something like that, and you're asking where it is, I don't know that by memory, but the map will be out there, and you'll be notified where you're going from that. Any questions so far?
No.
So far, making it through. We do have one cool thing to talk about. Calibre Collision grand opening is actually going to be on December 6th. That's just in a couple of weeks. This is located not too far from Big Sandy Superstore on Taylor Road Southwest. It's a very prominent auto repair shop that's there, and that's kind of the segue for the automotive technician offices that you can provide workers for. But they're very excited to be coming to Reynoldsburg. The building looks very nice. I drove by it the other day, so make sure you take a look at that, and we're welcoming them to our community. Our next fireside chat is not until December 1st. We're taking next week off because of the Thanksgiving holiday, so you don't have to worry about that. But don't worry, I'll be back the following week on December 1st with Reynoldsburg City Council President Angie Jenkins, and we'll be talking about all the things related to council at that point in time. And last chance for questions.
Yep.
All right.
Could I share one?
Oh, absolutely, please.
One other thing I wanted to share, we have a great relationship with the city of Reynoldsburg, and so this is something, we have we're part of Ohio Department of Education's Aspire program. Aspire is for adults who need to earn their high school equivalency, or who would like to take English language courses if they are not a native speaker of English. Those programs are completely free.
Awesome.
And so if we have community members who would like to take advantage of that, or know people who could use those, we serve a really large number of adults, and we've had a great relationship with various organizations here in the city of Reynoldsburg, so I want to make sure I put a plug in for the Aspire programs.
No, absolutely, it's a great thing. It's considering how diverse and our large Bhutanese American population that we have here, that is an absolutely great thing. I will make sure to mention that to Councilman Boone Paccarel to make sure that he shares that information as well. All right, with that, thank you very much again for coming. It's a huge thing. This is, the Career Centers provide a great opportunity for, students and adults to move further in their life than maybe what they were thinking. Lots of cool options with that. Want everybody to be safe and be respectful and have a wonderful Thanksgiving. And when you're shopping this weekend for all of those wonderful things, please put your shopping carts away. It's not too difficult a thing to do. Everybody else have a wonderful time. We'll see you in a couple weeks.